What's going on, guys? Jacob here, Miami Dolphins Syndicate. We are fully into draft season. We're going to be making a lot more videos now talking about guys the Miami Dolphins could potentially bring in with the draft. So before I get started here today, let me know if there's any prospects that you would like to see the Miami Dolphins bring in through the draft, whether it's first round, second round, wherever they may fall, whatever position you would like. If there's prospects that you like for the Miami Dolphins, let us know down below. Donovan got us started off on Monday and Tuesday talking about two wide receivers that the Miami Dolphins could end up drafting to add to that receiving core. And today, I'm going to be talking about the best prospect, best tight end prospect in this draft in Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is one of the best tight end prospects we have ever seen. Last year, we saw a really good host of tight ends come into the draft. Sam Laporta being drafted early in the first or in the second round. You have Michael Mayer going to the Raiders. A few other talented tight ends in that draft last year. Dalton Kincaid was drafted in the first round, so actually above Sam Laporta. And the consensus last year was if Brock Bowers was able to declare, he was a junior this year, so last year a sophomore, not able to go into the draft last year. If he would have been able to, he would have been the first tight end selected off the board. And when you look at his full resume, everything he's done and everything that he is, it makes a lot of sense. Just looking at his statistics first, playing at Georgia, he had an immediate impact in that first season as a freshman, nearly 900 yards, 13 touchdowns through the air, also had a rushing touchdown. Something to note, he had 5 rushing touchdowns in his career in 2022 as a tight end, rushed for 109 yards. You don't see that in the pros, let alone in college. That just shows you how versatile this guy is. 2022, his best receiving yards season and catch season, 63 catches, 942 yards. This last season, 2023, he did pull back a little, 56 catches, 714 yards. I don't want to say Georgia pulled back a little bit because they were undefeated up until the championship game. They played 2 less games than they did the last couple years going on and winning the national championship. So maybe that's part of it. Whatever the reason was, statistically, a little bit of a pullback. However, that does not take away who he is as a prospect, who he is as a player. 6'4", 240 pounds, everything you want from a modern day tight end. You look at some of the advanced stats, courtesy of PFF. You look at his receiving grade, looking and comparing him to other modern tight ends that we've talked about. 94.1 receiving grade is better than what we saw from Kyle Pitts when he was the 4th overall pick a few years ago at 92.9. Already talked a little bit about Sam Laporta. He bettered him at receiving yards after contact, 689 yards after contact compared to the 466 from Sam Laporta. And you take a look at what his strengths and weaknesses are. This is courtesy of NFL.com. This is from the strengths, everything you want from a modern day tight end. Is able to get off the snap. He's lean, early acceleration, capable of getting to his top speed very quickly, runs route with controlled strides, cut-ready footwork, preserves play speed, and begins to separate while turning routes. These are all things that normally you would talk about a wide receiver coming into the draft. These are all comparisons. These are all attributes that if you had these in a wide receiver, you'd be like, okay, this is a very good wide receiver. However, at the tight end position, bigger guy, like I keep saying, is the modern day tight end. You're no longer just an extension of the offensive line. Bigger guy, 6'5", 250, 260 pounds, able to block, red zone target, not really a diverse route tree. Today, that's completely changed. Now you are a extension of the receiving game. You have a bigger option in the receiving game while you still have the red zone attempts. You still find the ball being thrown up to them in the red area in short yardage situations. Now you find a lot more of a diverse route tree from these modern day tight ends, and you see that on full display with Brock Bowers. He's agile. He has got good hands. Now, he does struggle a little bit. He did struggle a little bit, particularly this year when it came to contested catches. One note of him is that he needs to improve his catch radius, and he's not the best blocker in the world. And again, that's something you expect now, as blocking has, while it's still important from a tight end position, it's not something that is, or once was with most tight ends, and we see with Durham Smythe that's their number one priority, is to block and then sometimes release as an outlet, or run some of these short to medium run those routes that you just pick up a few yards, you get a first down. What we see literally with Durham Smythe pretty much every Sunday with the Miami Dolphins, just running a straight line. He's not making anybody miss. That is the complete opposite from what you have here with Brock Bowers. Agile, good hands, athleticism, everything you want in a modern day tight end you get with Brock Bowers. Now, the Miami Dolphins, to get him, would likely have to trade up, and courtesy of CBS Sports, took a look at their mock draft. Conveniently enough, they do have the Miami Dolphins trading up to the 15th pick. However, not taking Brock Bowers, who interestingly was still on the board. They have us going offensive tackle from Penn State. I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce his name. That they do have Brock Bowers going the pick right after Miami Dolphins select that offensive tackle from Penn State. Right afterwards to the Seattle Seahawks. Just going based off of the trade that they had us trade up to take an offensive lineman, they had us sending our 22nd pick, so our first round pick, to get their first round pick back. We trade away our second round pick and get a fourth round pick back in return. So in totality, give up a first and a second this year to get first round pick this year and a fourth round pick this year, which personally, I would love to see the Miami Dolphins go out and do that. I think the tight end position has been the biggest weakness for the Miami Dolphins over the last couple of years on both sides of the ball. The offensive line has dramatically increased the running back room. While there's not a lot of money being currently allocated to it, they have found a very successful rushing duo with Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert. On the other side of the ball, the defensive line, yes, has gotten weaker, but it's still one of the better lines, or one of the best areas of point on this team. I'm not really sure what I'm saying at this point. But tight end, I think, undoubtedly is the weakest point on this team. And we went out and added Jonnu Smith, and we still have Durham Smythe, so we definitely improved. But you look over that San Francisco 49ers offense, and having that big target, an agile target, really one of the first modern-day tight ends that we see with George Kittle, his ability to get open in space, his ability to run, how quick he is, how mobile he is, how he's not just going to be a block on the offensive line and run in a straight line. He very much could be George Kittle 2.0, hopefully without the injuries that we've seen from George Kittle. If this opportunity presents itself where Brock Bowers falls into the middle of the first round and the Dolphins have a trade package available with what this trade is right here, the Miami Dolphins, they have us trading with the Indianapolis Colts to move up to the 15th pick where Brock Bowers is still available on the table, giving up those assets for Brock Bowers, who is one of the best tight end prospects of all time. We have not seen a lot of tight ends drafted in the first round, but it's becoming more and more frequent as the tight end position is having more and more of an impact statistically on the offense rather than just being another blocker. The tight end position is incredibly important, and when you have a prospect like Brock Bowers on the board, who I think people are starting to talk themselves out of him, weirdly enough. He was all the craze of college football at the tight end position last year, and now this year, where he started early on in the offseason, there was conversations about the Chargers taking him all the way up at the 5th pick in this draft. Now he's found his way working down into the middle of the first round, and it's just continued to drop. I don't understand that at all. Personally, I would love to see the Miami Dolphins go out and bring Brock Bowers into this team as our tight end for the future. Let me know your thoughts down below on Brock Bowers. Do you love him as a prospect as much as I do? Would you give up those assets to move up in the draft and get Brock Bowers, bring him in to be, like I said, our tight end one of the future? Or do you think the Dolphins should hold off, draft the offensive lineman, draft one of the receivers that Donovan was talking about? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know down below in the comments. And like I said before, let us know any prospects that are out there around the college football landscape that you'd like to see the Miami Dolphins bring in, whatever the position is, wherever in the draft. Let us know down below, and we might just take that suggestion and make a video about it. That is all for me today. While you're down there in the comment section, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Appreciate y'all very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Go Dolphins.